Sometimes, people do not die physically first. Sometimes the soul dies long before the body. And maybe you already know that feeling. That strange emptiness. That silent heaviness inside the chest. That feeling of waking up every morning but not truly feeling alive. You smile, you talk, you eat, you scroll, you laugh with people. But deep inside, something feels missing. Something feels cold. And the terrifying part is this: most people never realize what is happening to them. Because the death of the soul does not happen suddenly. It happens quietly, slowly, one distraction at a time, one sin at a time, one ignored prayer at a time, one broken night at a time, until the heart no longer feels anything, until the Quran sounds distant, until dua becomes empty words, until the soul becomes exhausted from carrying a world it was never created to worship. There was a time when your heart was softer. You remember it. A simple verse could shake you. A late-night dua could make your eyes fill with tears. You felt hope. You felt connected. Allah felt close. But then life happened. The dunya became louder. The phone never stopped glowing. The mind never stopped racing. People disappointed you. You disappointed yourself. Slowly, your inner world became noisy. And in all that noise, you stopped listening to your soul. The world taught you to feed the body constantly, but nobody taught you how to feed the heart. So now the soul starves quietly. And a starving soul does not scream. It fades. One of the most dangerous things about spiritual death is that it often looks normal. A person can still be successful, still be attractive, still be funny, still upload photos, still make money, still gain attention, but inside, darkness. Because the soul was never created for endless dunya. It was created for Allah. And when the soul loses its connection with Allah, nothing else can truly satisfy it. That is why people keep chasing more entertainment, more attention, more relationships, more validation, more noise. Because they think the next thing will finally heal the emptiness. But the emptiness is spiritual. And spiritual wounds cannot be healed with worldly addictions. Some hearts become so tired, they stop feeling guilt. That is one of the scariest stages. When sin no longer hurts, when disobedience feels casual, when haram becomes entertainment, when prayer feels heavy, when the heart becomes emotionally numb. Ibn al-Qayyim spoke deeply about the diseases of the heart. He explained that sins leave darkness upon darkness, and eventually, the heart weakens. Not because Allah abandoned the person, but because the person slowly abandoned their own soul. And still, Allah keeps the door open. That is the mercy we forget. Even after all the distance, even after all the mistakes, even after years of numbness, Allah still waits for the servant to return. But returning is painful, because healing forces you to face what destroyed you. The distractions, the addictions, the ego, the arrogance, the hidden loneliness, the fake version of yourself you built to survive. And sometimes, The soul becomes tired because it spent years pretending to be okay, pretending to be strong, pretending not to hurt. Meanwhile, the heart was collapsing silently. There are people surrounded by millions, yet they feel completely alone. Why? Because the soul does not crave crowds. It craves peace. It craves meaning. It craves Allah. And maybe this is the realization nobody wants to hear. The world will never love you enough to heal your soul. Never. The dunya takes, it consumes, it distracts. And if you keep giving your entire heart to this world will leave you spiritually empty. That is why some people have everything and still feel dead inside. Because comfort is not the same as peace. Entertainment is not the same as happiness. Attention is not the same as love. And being alive is not the same as having a living soul. There comes a moment in life when Allah allows a person to finally feel their emptiness, not to destroy them, but to wake them up. That pain you feel sometimes late at night, that strange ache in your chest, that exhaustion after endless scrolling, that loneliness in crowded rooms, maybe it is not random. Maybe your soul is begging to breathe again. Maybe your heart is begging to return, because deep inside, you already know. You were not created for this endless cycle. You were created to know Allah, and the soul dies when it forgets why it exists. But listen carefully. The death of the soul is not always permanent. A dead heart can live again. This is the beauty of Islam. No matter how dark the heart becomes, Allah can still fill it with light. One sincere tear can begin healing. One honest dua. One moment of tawbah. One prayer prayed with presence. One verse that finally enters the heart. Sometimes transformation begins quietly, not with a miracle, but with a return. A small return. A tired servant whispering, "Ya Allah, I want to come back." And Allah loves those moments more than we understand, because Allah does not expect perfection. He asks for sincerity. Healing the soul is not instant. You must protect your heart again. Protect your eyes. Protect your ears. Protect what enters your soul every day. Because not everything that entertains you is good for your heart. Some things slowly poison the ruh. Some things darken the soul while making the body feel temporary pleasure. And modern life has normalized spiritual numbness. People laugh while their hearts are breaking. People consume endlessly while feeling empty. People run from silence because silence forces them to meet themselves. But the believers of the past loved quiet moments because quietness allowed them to hear the soul. Maybe tonight, instead of drowning in distraction again, you sit quietly. Maybe you turn everything off for a few minutes. Maybe you finally let your heart speak. Maybe you raise your hands to Allah after a long time. And maybe the words come out broken. That's okay. Allah understands broken hearts. He created them. Speak honestly. Tell Allah you are tired. Tell Him your soul feels lost. Tell Him the dunya exhausted you. Tell Him you want peace. Because the most beautiful return is the return that comes after darkness. And never forget this. A soul connected to Allah can survive anything. Pain, loss, failure, loneliness, depression, fear. But a soul disconnected from Allah can drown even while surrounded by comfort. That is why true peace was never material. It was spiritual all along. The heart was always searching for its creator, even when the person didn't realize it. So if your soul feels tired today, there is still hope. If your heart feels dark, there is still hope. If you feel emotionally numb, there is still hope. As long as you still want Allah, your soul is not dead. Maybe wounded, maybe exhausted, maybe lost, but not dead. Not yet. And perhaps this very moment, this feeling in your chest while listening, is Allah calling you back before your soul disappears completely into the noise of the world. Take one step back to Him, just one, and slowly you may feel life returning to the soul again, softly, quietly, like light entering a dark room after years. If this message reached your heart, comment the word return. And if you want more deep Islamic psychological reflections like this, subscribe and continue this journey back to Allah. May Allah heal every exhausted soul listening tonight.